Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Paper Crafting Saturday. I'm Leslie Watkins. Are you all having as crazy a week as I am? I have been so busy. I've gotten so many packages out, thankfully. For those of you who have been waiting patiently for your card kits and other surprises, your Christmas journals, they are all out. If you haven't received them yet, you will be getting them very soon. I think a lot of you probably already got them. And then I'm also going to be sending you the link this week for the video tutorials and instructions that you'll want to use to follow along. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your orders. I'm excited. And today I've got a really exciting project. This is going to be definitely for the avid crafter. For those of you who are interested or just beginning, don't be scared away by this. I just want you to see how you can build upon your skills and do something really special. So everybody's got to start somewhere. But today I'm going to be doing something a little extra special because it's Christmas, and I have these two sets that I want to use. One of them is the Eden's Garden collection, and this is a specialty collection. It's only available until I think it's January 3rd, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite things. I love the colors, I love the papers, I love the dyes, the whole thing. So I'm going to show you that today, and I'm going to team it up with the delicate bauble dies and make some really cute ornaments and a fancy little box to put your ornament in. So this is going to be a longer than usual video. So make sure you've got your coffee, and let me show you what I have to get started with. So let me show you the products first. Let me just show you what I'll be using. These are the delicate Baubles dies, and these are a retiring product. You can only get these over the course of the next couple of days while supplies last, and they will run out. And what it is, it's a collection of dies. You have your framelit that will cut out the shape like so. So there's one round, and then there's one in the traditional ornament shape. And then you get an assortment of kind of filigree pieces. So for instance, this one says Merry and Bright. You'll see it better when I start working on the project. You've got a snowflake. Over here you've got one that says Joy, and then here's a Christmas tree. And there's even a little tie, a string and a tie that you can cut out if you like. What I like to do is I like to use the gold foil paper with these. And that's what I did for today. And because this is going to be a more involved video, I've gone ahead and I've done a lot of the die cutting ahead of time. Hopefully all of it, but if I may have forgotten a couple of things. Now, one of the things that inspired me today to use the, let me just get organized here so I'm able to show you. I think the easiest way to do this is just to show you get started with the flyer. So here's the flyer. And by the way, I did check just before I went live today to make sure that these things were still available. And as of right now, they are still available, but they could sell out very quickly this time of year. Everything's been selling out like crazy, so I just want to give you that warning. And I'm also going to include a host code. So after I do the video today, there's going to be a host code for December that you can use when you order your you can apply it to anything you like, but if you apply it to the Eden's Garden collection, you're going to get a special gift from me, and it's something that you won't want to miss out on. So I'm just giving you that tip ahead of time. So this is what it looks like, and these are the things that come in the collection. So you have the stamps and the dies. You have the Ever Eden 12 by 12 double-sided DSP, and this is a foil designer series paper, so it's got the gold foil on it, which will match beautifully with the ornaments I'm going to show you today. It has this 12 by 12 cotton paper, which I have not seen a lot of people use, and I absolutely love it. It's a specialty paper. It's actually made out of cotton, so it's very strong, and you can do a lot of really fancy techniques with it. And at first glance, you look at it and you think it's tissue paper, and you think, oh, what do I need tissue paper for? But no, it's really tough, and I'm going to be using that today and show you what you can do. It also comes with these beautiful garden gems, and I have a pack right here, and you can see that they're kind of, I think this is called like a marquee cut, and then the little rounds, and they are, let's see, there's 140 of them in here. They come in 3 different sizes, and I think the does it say here? Yeah, okay. Cherry cobbler, soft succulent, and available only while supplies last. So we're going to be using these today because they work beautifully with the delicate bauble ornaments. So that's the Eden's Garden collection. You can get just the bundle with the stamps and the dies, and that's available, I think, for a 10% discount, or you can get the entire collection, and that's $82, and that includes the 10% discount on the bundle. Or you can get any of these things a la carte, but remember that this is discontinued. It finishes on January 3rd, and you won't be able to get it anymore. And the colors that coordinate with the papers are Evening Evergreen, Soft Succulent, and the gold foil. Okay, so those are the 2 main things. And then I've got some odds and ends. And I have the gold holly leaves, which I may or may not use, but I really like these things. These are like little fabric gold foil holly leaves. They're really pretty. They come in a couple of different sizes. I've got some of the gold shimmer ribbon. I've got some gold cord, and I have some samples of things that I did in the past. You can look back on my YouTube channel at Dandelion Cottage Design, or right here on Facebook, and you can find some of the projects I'm going to show you right now. This is a box, and this box features, this is that cotton paper. Let me give you a really close-up of this, because this is the cotton paper. It's been heat embossed, and then it's been scrumpled up and glued down to the surface of the box, and then I stitched around it with gold thread and a zigzag stitch. And that's, oh, and then there's little additions of the champagne rhinestones. Really pretty. And I think this is a really good, example of some of the things that you can do with this paper. I'm not going to do all of that today, but I'm going to do some of it. And there are those beautiful little, let me get them in the camera, there are those beautiful little holly leaves, and you can see them also with a little scrap of the cotton paper. So that alone, I think, is worth getting the Eden's Garden collection, because it's so unique and it's so much fun to work with. If you're somebody that likes to make journals, these are fantastic products that you can use to make your journals. And I think that's something that I probably have coming up in store for you. And then I just have a couple of cards that I did that you may have already seen, but I'll show them really quickly. These are primarily using the Eden's Garden bundle, Soft Succulent and Evening Evergreen, and a couple of other die sets and stamp sets. But I think you get how the design looks with this set. All right, so that's enough talking about past products or projects. Let's get started on today's. So I've got my goodie bag, and this is loaded with all sorts of die cuts that I've done in preparation and bits and pieces that are left over from previous projects. And what I like to do is I like to keep them all together so that they are color coordinated and they work with the collection. And that way I don't have to do a lot of extra die cutting when I'm right in the middle of designing. I've also got a couple of boxes ready to assemble. And this is the Evening Evergreen cardstock. And I've got both of these boxes from one piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. I just scored it at a 1/2 inch all around. And one of them is a little bit longer to accommodate the longer ornament, and one of them is a little bit squarer to accommodate the rounder ornament. To save time, I'm just going to be doing the one today, but I just wanted to show you that you can get two box shapes from one piece of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. Hi Kelly. Hi Penny. Hi Linda from Michigan. Linda, what's the temperature in Michigan? I know I saw those snowy pictures on your Facebook. Now in here, I've gone ahead. This is a piece of the cotton paper, okay, and I cut that with the delicate bauble die along with a soft succulent cardstock piece, so I can layer these two together. I've got a couple of the various bauble shapes. Okay, I'm just going to spread all these things out. This is a piece of the shimmery white paper. So I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, but it has a beautiful little shimmery effect on it, which is really pretty for an ornament. And then I've got these things, all right, and Merry and Bright from the, what's it called? From the Bright Bauble stamp set. Now this unfortunately is gone, so this is an example of one of the things that is no longer available, but if you already have that, then the Merry and Bright stamp fits really nicely on the Eden's Garden label that comes with the dies. And Sandra's from California. Lucky you. You have some nice weather there, I expect. In the Eden's Garden die set are these little tiny floral leafy pieces that you can get from one of the dies. Let's see if I can give you a close-up of that. Really pretty. Okay, this is a wonderful accent piece. So I've got that in the gold foil and also in the evening evergreen. I'll just scoop these up and put them over here. And let's see what else I have. Now the ornaments can be also used as labels. You don't have to use them necessarily as an ornament. You could also use them as a beautiful label. So here's another piece of, let's see. Okay, these are both shimmery white. Then I've got a couple of ornaments that I stamped, one with evening evergreen, one with the soft succulent, and that's on the shimmery white paper. And then I've got a couple of the ornament shapes cut out with the evening evergreen. And I think that's it for the ornaments. I have some of these. I'm not gonna, let me get a piece of white paper so you can see better. These are some of the die shapes that come and you can see them in both the soft succulent and the evening evergreen. Now, what's really fun about these shapes is that you can use them as a beautiful border for a standard size note card, or you can cut them apart and apply them to your project in any shape that you like. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. So I've got a bunch more of these things I see, and I've got here we go. This is a piece of this die shape, and you can see how it makes this beautiful little berry design, and that's in the gold foil. So I think that gives you an idea. I've got a lot of other little bits and pieces here that I'm not going to bother to go through. I think you've seen enough. That's very pretty. This is a piece of the basic white cardstock with the Eden's Garden dies and then sponged around the edges, and it's just a kind of a beautiful all over pattern. And I'm going to be doing something like that today. All right, so I think that covers everything I'm going to be using. And I'm just going to be using the very basic tools. So I use the trimmer, the snips, the bone folder, and for the dies, of course, I use the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Oops, wrong way. Here we go. And I'm just probably going to be using the multi-purpose liquid glue and some glue dots, maybe some dimensionals. And by the way, if you're interested in getting the adhesive gift pouch, and I can show you that real quick. This is one that's decorated for Christmas, but you could use this any time of year. So this is a really cute little zippered pouch, and inside I have some tear and tape double-sided adhesive. I've got 2 pieces of the mini stamping dimensionals and the stamping dimensionals, standard size. Got the mini glue dots and the multi-purpose liquid glue. And then this pouch can be personalized however you'd like it to be. I've included a little gift tag here, and you've got a card here with some DSP, and you could write your message on the back, or you can keep it for yourself. This is a great way to keep all of your adhesives handy in one place so that you know where to find them. So this is something that is also available when you subscribe to Notes at dandelioncottagedesign.com. You will get on my email list, and when I send you notification of the upcoming classes, this gift pouch will be included as an add-on for any of the classes that you may be interested in. All right, well, I think that's a lot of business done and out of the way. I'm going to begin with my box. Okay, and before I assemble it, I'm going to go ahead and start to decorate the top. And I think I'm going to use this one. This is the soft succulent. Well, yeah, I'm going to stick with the soft succulent. And I'm going to get one of my sponge daubers. So here's one that I have in the soft succulent ink that I've already used. And I'm just going to go around the edges. There we go. And I think it might be nice just to bring a little bit of this color into the shape. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of sponging on the top and the bottom areas. The sides. Okay, so it looks like that. All right, so that's the basis for the top of my box. And thinking I'm going to add a little bit of gold trim. Just putting a tiny little bead of glue around the edges. Now, if you have a tissue handy, you can take your shape and just sort of make sure there's no big blobs of glue on there. we go. I'm going to give that a little burnish. Make sure that that's adhered well. I consider my bone folder an essential tool. So if you're just getting started with paper crafting, or if you don't have a bone folder, I strongly recommend that you get one so that you get really nice, smooth results. Okay, so there is that. And I'm going to add some of these gems. So these, again, are those garden gems. I've got a brand new package here. And I also, let's see, I think I'm looking for an open pack of my champagne rhinestones. These are all new. I thought I had an open one. Alright, well, I guess we'll use a new one of these as well. I really, these champagne rhinestone basic jewels are really nice for decorating your projects that have a lot of neutral tones in them, like I like to use quite a bit. So that's a nice one to have handy. And I'm going to take one of my largest champagne rhinestones. I'm just going to put that right in the center. Okay, and I think I'll put one on each side as well. Okay, now I'm going to take these really neat marquee shapes and add those to the design. Make sure I get that on there straight. I love that you can do something like this with paper and cardstock and make it look so beautiful and still be able to send it to somebody in the mail. All right, now I may or may not add more. Let's just keep going. I'm going to take these little cherry cobbler ones. It's just like designing a piece of jewelry. There we go. I think what I want to do is add a little bit. I'm going to take these little tiny champagne ones and just put those in between. Oops. I missed the glue dot on that one and it just went flying. Let me get another one. There we go. All right, so there is my very, very sparkly. Now you could also stamp your image on here using heat embossing, which would add a whole other sparkly dimension to the cover of your box. So that's going to go on there, something like that. And I'm just wondering if I want to put that up on dimensionals, and I don't think I do. I think I want to keep it nice and flat so that it doesn't get caught on anything, because I'm hoping that this will be a keepsake, and so I don't want it to make it have too many pieces sticking out that are going to catch on things. Now I'm using my gold shimmer ribbon. Now this is something I believe is unavailable right now. I think this is on back order. I know a lot of you probably have some in your stash, but if you don't have this exact ribbon, I'm sure you can find another beautiful ribbon that would look really pretty with this. I know the fine, I think it's called the fine art ribbon. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of it. But that one looks really pretty with these little gold holly leaves, so that would make a great option for you to tie your bow on. So there's my bow. And just make that a pretty shape. Get that how you want it. And now I can add some of these little die cuts. Definitely going to use my tweezer for this job. Just a couple little dots of glue. And I'm not squeezing the glue, I'm sort of getting it started, and then I'm just kind of spreading it around, so it's just a very thin layer. Oops, I don't want to cover up my gem. There we go. Okay, and then I have my gold. Now I'm going to snip this to make it a little bit smaller. Take off one of the leaves. Just add that. Oops. Do that again. There we go. I'm going to get my glue dot. And then a little tiny one, and I think this will be ready to go. If I can pick it up. There we go. So there is a very, very pretty decoration for the top of my box. I think I need to make this bow a little bit smaller. That's better. Okay. So that's going to decorate the lid of my box, just like so. So now I'm going to go ahead and put my box together. Hey Deb! Hi Deb! Thank you for the big heart. How is your hand doing? I know that you had a little bit of surgery going on. I hope that you're feeling better. I hope that your hand is well enough so that you're able to craft. What's going on with that? So here we go. I'm adding the glue to the center tabs first. I find that it's much easier when you're assembling your boxes to start in the middle. And then what I'm doing is, let me zoom you out a tiny bit, is to make sure that your corner meets up nicely. Now this is just your very, very basic box, and I kept it super simple for this, so I don't think you need instructions. Basically, it's a 1/2 inch score all around, and then of course you can customize the size to whatever shape or size ornament that you'll be using. So I'm just holding that together for a moment. Excuse me, time for coffee. I hope you all brought coffee today. Okay. All right, so that's going to be the bottom of my box, and then for the front here, just the same thing. Put a tiny dot of glue, line up that corner. Same deal on the other side. Just take your time. Give it a moment to catch. And then what I like to do is give those tabs a good rub. Make sure that they're well stuck down. Okay, and that's not going anywhere. Now, you have to decide, do you want the lid of your box to be on the outside, or do you want it to tuck in? Okay, so I think for this one, I'm going to do the lid of my box on the outside. I don't always do it that way. It depends on the project, but for today, I think that's how I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead, get these last 2 tabs dotted with glue. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get them just about in place. But before that has set completely, I'm just going to pop it all together, okay, and now hold it, because this way I know that the lid of my box is going to be a teensy tiny bit bigger than the bottom, so it's going to be able to go over it. And it's the exact opposite. If you wanted to have your if you wanted to have the lid tuck into the box, you would do it a little bit differently. In fact, you wouldn't even have to glue the corners. You could just use tabs and just pop it together. But I think this is going to add a little more strength and stability to this box, and I want it to be nice and strong to protect that ornament. All right, so that is the box. I'm going to apply my decoration like so, but before I do, I want to add a closure to the box. So I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm just going to get enough to come off. I know you can't see this in the camera, but I'm just going to add enough to wrap around so I can tie it closed. And then what I'm going to do is use my double-sided tape. Love my tear and tape. It's so easy to use and it's so strong and it's just perfect for this kind of application. So I'm just going to put that, actually I'm going to give that a good burnish since I can from the inside. Oops. There we go. And then see if I can peel that away. Find the center of my ribbon and just hold that off to the side. Okay, now I can put my decoration on top of the box. Okay, let me ask you all what you think. I have the opportunity here to pop it up on dimensionals or to lay it flat. I'm leaning towards laying it flat just to help protect it from being popped off, but I'm curious to know, what do you all think? So just type in your, if you would put yours up on dimensionals or if you would glue yours flat. I'm going to go ahead and glue mine flat, but you could do it either way. It depends, I guess, really on who you're giving it to and how you think they're going to care for it, because you know, some people are more careful than other people. All right. There we go. Just holding that in place for a minute. Let's see what people are saying. Flat is okay. Hey, Anne Maria. Thank you so much for joining from the Netherlands. So nice to see you here. I wonder what time it is where you are. Okay, I'm just going to put this aside for the moment. So I'll give you a quick close-up. And you can see that that is very pretty. Okay, all the sparkles. I'm going to put this aside and let's work on the ornament now. Now the ornaments I like to layer up because I like them to be sturdy. So that's why I cut out or die cut a bunch of different layers. So this is the soft succulent cotton paper and the soft succulent cardstock that I'm going to be using as the top layer of my my ornament. And then I have this is the shimmer white, but you can use the Whisper White or the basic white thick for this. That would work very nicely. And because this is going to go on the inside, so this is going to be layered up something like that. All right, and then on the back I have my evening evergreen, and I have another piece of the white, and that's going to be where I can put my message on the inside. So that's the kind of the overview. And then of course I've got my gold foil accents, which I'll also be using. So to start off, I'm going to get my stamp pad out, because what I want to do is I want to decorate this cotton paper, and you can see how flexible it is, but it is strong. I mean, if I were to do this with tissue paper, it would tear. This is not like tissue paper. Really interesting, really fun product to work with. And I'm going to get out my Eden's Garden stamp set. And this is what that looks like. It's really pretty. Has wonderful sentiments for all year round. It's got this beautiful distinctive stamp, and what I mean by that is a stamp that allows you to stamp one time and create several different layers of values, I should say. Okay, so there's light, medium, and dark all in one impression. And then I think my favorite part of this set are these beautiful little flourishes, because they're just perfect for making borders, for making all over patterns, for embellishing the back of your envelope or the inside of your card. I think they're just charming. So that's why and then of course the dies that allow you to make all these beautiful little flourishing shapes, including this wonderful border image, the wreaths and the label. So it's really, it's a great all around set for doing lots of different things. So if you're just getting started, I think this would be an awesome place to begin. All right, so I'm getting a collection of clear blocks out. So I think that should do it. And my ink, where did my ink go? Oh, it's behind me. Okay, that's Evening Evergreen. I think I want to use Soft Succulent for this. So let me get that one out instead. And I just want a delicate little pattern. I think I'll use this one. Oh, Anna Marie is telling me the time, 19:15. So that would be 12. That's like 7 in the evening. 7 in the evening. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. So I'm going to use the curvature of this stamp to just sort of go around the outline and make a really pretty border design. And this would be so pretty with the gold embossing too. So that's another option that you could do. And then I'll put one right in the middle. Okay, so there's a kind of a subtle design, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a little bit of darker accent on the edges. You know, I love to sponge. Not every project needs to be sponged, but when you have the time to do this on certain projects, I think it adds so much to it. It just gives it that really pretty, finished, professional look. Okay, so now that I've got my shape, close this up and make a little room here. I'm going to crumple it up. All right, so there it is. Just a crumpled up little piece of paper. And now, just going to open that back up again. And I end up with this wonderful textured surface. I'm going to add a little bit of glue. And I'm just going to adhere that. Making sure I can have a hole that I can pass my ribbon through there. And the design that I stamped is very faint. I can still see it, but I think that if I were to do it again, I would use the evening evergreen, so it was a little bit darker because it's a little bit too subtle. Now I'm getting glue. I'm getting glue on the other side, so I'm going to grab my... Oh, I don't have to worry about that because I'm going to be putting... I was going to show you my glue eraser, but actually it doesn't matter because I'm going to glue this down. When you're working with die cut shapes like this, you know you can always get a perfect match when you want to layer things up, which just makes everything so much easier. Okay, so now I've got a 3-layer surface to work with, which is nice and sturdy. So I'm going to give that just a minute to dry. And while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with my bottom layer. There we go. Now, you can use this area to write your message, or you can stamp a sentiment in there. There are some to and from sentiments that you could use. So there we go. So now we're starting to get a nice thickness built up. This is now 5 layers thick. And what I want to do is I want to add my beautiful rim here to the front. And get my glue going. Here we go. I think I'm running out. Okay. And again, I'm going to blot this on my tissue paper. Line that up. That looks good. Now you could just add your merry and bright filigree, and that would be gorgeous, just gorgeous. Or you can put that on the back, which is something that I've done with my watercolored ornaments. When I've watercolored a painting on the front of the ornament, I'll use this in the back. You can also layer this on the inside, which is really pretty. Okay, something like that. So we'll see. I'm not sure which way I want to do that just yet. We'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, I do want my image to be my main image to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go back in with my Evening Evergreen ink this time. And I'm just going to put the main image just so. And a lot of this you won't see, and that's okay. It's just a little background, but it's just, I think it needed that little bit extra. All right, now comes the fun part, decorating around the ornament with all these wonderful pieces. So I'm just going to snip out some shapes that fit nicely. So like this little curved corner, I think fits nicely in there like so. So I can just eyeball it and see where to cut the extras. So there's one, and I think here, I'm just going to remove those points This is where these wonderful snips come in handy. These scissors are so sharp and they allow you to get into all of these wonderful little places and just do this very fine detail work. So there's one, and then this one, and let's see, how do I want that? I think right there. This can go back into my goodie bag. And I'm staying towards the center because some of these leaves and berries may go outside the edge of the ornament, so I want to make sure there's no glue in those areas. Now let's see, I think I want to remove this little stem here. There we go. And I may have to trim this leaf off. Maybe I can scooch. I want to make sure that I can slip my ribbon through there. There we go. So, you know, when you get your die shapes, you're not, you don't have to use the shapes exactly as they come. Don't be afraid to experiment and cut them up and move them around and see what other configurations you can make. The having this wreath, this large wreath shape, and I'm talking about this one, really makes it so versatile. You can do so much with it. Okay, now I'm keeping it in a little bit from the gold foil. I don't want to cover up too much. I want enough of that gold to show through so that it picks up the light. So there we go. And again, I'm going to go back to these really cute little ones. I know this is a long video, I warned you. You can always zoom forward after it's done. And I will be posting the pictures. I'm just going to add a little bit more here. Okay, and now I do want to start popping things up. So for that, I'm going to get out my mini dimensionals. Oh wait, those aren't minis. Let me grab my minis. Here we go. And the reason I'm using the switching to the dimensionals now is because these die cuts have this filigree. So it's not just a flat leaf shape. It also has these beautiful little kind of lacy outline shapes. All right, I think you can see that. And so when you pop them up, it allows you to get a little shadow effect with the light passing behind them, which is very pretty. All right, so now at this point I want to start adding some of my gold elements. So I'm adding 2 mini dimensionals. I'll have one coming down through here. And I'm going to go back to my holly leaves. Pop that up on a dimensional. Still being careful to keep that hole for my ribbon so I don't have any trouble with that. And I'm going to take one of these tiny ones. Now this one I think I'll need a glue dot for. Did I get it? No. There we go. Okay. Now I have this piece of the gold berries, and I'm just going to cut this apart into smaller pieces. And I'm just going to tuck that in. So I'll just put a little drop of glue on there. I just want a little bit of gold berries kind of here and there. Maybe 2 more. Let's see, where do I want this to go? Right there. Okay, so there's all my gold foil on there. I've got this one tiny leaf left over. Let's just use it up. Just slip that right in there. Every little bit. Okay, and now I'll get my my jewels back out. And I'm going to be using these wonderful tiny little red ones for berries. So I'm going to scatter those all around. And what's nice about the die is that it already has the berries in place. So you can just use that as a guide as you go around. You don't have to do every single one, but get just enough so that you've got some beautiful sparkle going on. Oops. Come over here. There you go. These are tiny. I'm going to take a bigger one and put that in my main motif up above here. And I think what I'll do is I'll put a cluster of 3. Okay, that looks pretty good. Maybe I could use an extra one over here. Oops, it's on my finger. There we go. All right, so that's looking really pretty right now. And let's get it assembled. So the question is whether to put this inside as a surprise, which is kind of I kind of like that idea, or put it on the back. I think I'm going to put it on the back. You can also use the adhesive sheets if you like to use those. There's also the fine tip glue for getting all of these intricate little things, but I've just gotten so used to using the green glue. And there are a lot of little ends here, so you want to make sure you catch each of those little free ends so that they don't get bent. Okay, I think that'll do it. Again, tissue. And I'm going to line up the hole. Get that on there straighter. There we go. That looks pretty good. Give that a press. There we go. Okay, so all that remains is to string this together. So I've got my beautiful trim. This is the very fine gold trim. And I'm going to, and this is the one, by the way, that unravels. So what I like to do is just to, as soon as I cut it, put a knot to keep that from unraveling. But the the drape of this is so nice that I just love using it. I'm just going to find the center. Put my ornament together. Pass my gold trim through. And this is long enough that it can be tied onto the tree. And then what I want to do is come back to my gold shimmer ribbon and put a bow. Now if you were going to be stamping the inside of your ornament with your message, you would of course do that before you assemble the whole thing. You could also write your message ahead of time, because the both sides are going to be bumpy now. So if you so go ahead and do that before doing all this other stuff. Now let's see if I can make a nice bow. I don't want it too big and I don't want too small, so let's see how. That looks okay. Maybe it's a little too big. Let's make it a little bit smaller. I also want the tails to be nice and long so that they hang down. That looks better. Okay. And quick trim. Little angle cut. Okay, there it is. There's my very decorative, festive little paper ornament. Get that a little bit better. There you go. So you can see it's nice and sparkly, has a lot of texture. It's got all these wonderful golden elements. You've got merry and bright on the back. And then you have, of course, the beautiful shimmery interior that you can put your message. So let's get our box back. So here's my little box, and I can open that up, and my ornament's going to fit very nicely inside there. Tuck in my ribbon and my trim. So there it is, and just going to tie that shut. It's a lot of bow tying for me today. Okay, get my, I can hear my upline saying bunny ears, but I don't do bunny ears so often. The bunny ear technique is great when you're using a ribbon that is one-sided, but this ribbon, it doesn't matter so much. So that's my very long video today for the holidays. I hope that gave you lots of ideas. There's all different ways that you can adopt this or adapt this to other stamp sets. Again, this was the Eden's Garden collection and the Delicate Baubles dies, which are still available. And in just a couple of minutes, I'm going to post that link in the description. So if you're interested in getting that before January 3rd or before supplies run out, you'll be able to do that. And the other thing I'd like you to do is to go to dandelioncottagedesign.com and subscribe to Notes. And when you do that, I will be able to send you special offers, classes, event schedules, if you need a catalog, all that kind of stuff. So please do that. And I wish you a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.